Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. Happy New Year everyone. This is the first video of the year. If you did enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. I hope you guys had some nice break. I hope you guys are excited as me to finally be in 2025. So the year of the true bull, the bull market that promises the dreams and basically makes it all worth the wait and the pain and the blah blah blah. You guys know the drill. Now, is it guaranteed that this time is going to happen? Of course, it's not guaranteed. Anything is guaranteed. What I'm saying is, what I'm seeing is that this cycle is pretty much, in general, very similar to past cycles, to past 4-year cycles. Now, we've changed narratives, we've changed main characters, we've changed coins in some cases. We've changed narratives, but at the end of the day, here we are again, pumping when we should be pumping, dumping when we should be dumping, correcting the same amounts that we should after the halving, pumping into the halving, pumping into Q4 20 of the year of the halving. Will we pump then in the Q1 of the year after the halving? Now that's the question. Need to wait and see. Will we peak? Will Bitcoin peak in October 2025, sell off, then come back in November, but doesn't quite make a new all-time high, and we have a massive altcoin season in Q4 2025. This would be the second altcoin season after the one happening in Q1. We would have a bigger Q2 altcoin season going into December 2025, potentially a little bit beginning of 2026. I don't know. That's the $1 million questions. Those are the $1 million enigmas that we need to figure out when we take this journey going forward. Quick recap. TLT seems a bit more stabilized, which is good. Stocks a little bit under pressure, nothing special, around 0.5% down for most indices. Bitcoin is at the moment of this recording at 97.5K. Ethereum is approaching 3,500. And Pepe is almost at $9 billion market cap, so it's been quite the good start in that sense. The only thing a little bit concerning is the strength of the dollar, which is at 109.4. But if you look at the move of the dollar since Trump was elected, it's really quite. For the currency market, for us in crypto, it's nothing, but for the currencies market, it's quite the parabolic move. So it's starting to feel a little bit in a kind of blow off top. You see, because these currencies are not supposed to move so many percentage points. You see what I mean? Like, these markets are extremely deep, extremely liquid. You need billions and billions and billions of dollars to move those markets. And they rarely go one-sided non-stop into one single direction. So I get the feeling that we may be peaking over there. My biggest focus for this year with the new president is really sorting out the conflicts. You see, the number one job of the government is security, safety. If you can't do that, you better not do anything else. That's like in your job description, that's by far the first and the most important one. Get that one right. Then we can think about, what were they spending money on, teaching chimpanzees to do whatever. Then we can think about that. First, let's get the security part carefully done. Make sure that the world is safe and that we don't engage in wars that we shouldn't be engaging. And then the second point, which is very important for me, is the regulatory support that I do expect coming for crypto. I think it's very clear the Bitcoin ETFs were the most successful ETF launch in the history of mankind. Now, a lot of big important players in the US are making a lot of money, so it's no longer a partisan issue in that sense. It now becomes, okay, we like that money. It doesn't really matter if we do really believe Bitcoin can be savior of this or the other, because if we do build an infrastructure here in the country, all the money will come here, just like the stock market. All the money will come here, and we collect fees like a casino operator. We will collect fees. So what I'm saying is, it's of the interest of the US to be the capital of crypto on the world, even if they don't believe in it. So let's say if you have people that believe in it, great, they're very happy. If you have people that hold coins, great, they're very happy. If you don't believe in anything and you don't hold anything, you still have the interest that you become the capital of the planet, because there's sufficient people out there that think that this is the next big thing. So you want to collect those fees, make sure that you're in the frontier, just in case you are missing something and you get proven wrong in the future. So those are some of the things that I'm really keen to see. Well, based on previous cycles, January should be a very good month. I've addressed this in my previous market predictions for 2025, which was there's the potential for a mini correction in January after Trump's being elected. It's a perfect buy the rumor, sell the news. However, at this stage, I do expect it to be a little bit more constrained, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 days even only, because we just had a big correction right now. So the people that we got rid of were the people that were planning to sell. A lot of them were planning to sell in Q1 2025. You see, this time there was a bit of a feeling that was different than previous cycles. In the past, you never had to worry about retail selling, because by definition, retail comes at the end with maximum greed, maximum leverage. They pay you, the holder, the believer, the person that was here during the bear markets, and then that person gets destroyed and they basically transfer your money from them to you. That's what ends up happening. This time, retail was obsessed with selling early. So I think that when they started seeing Bitcoin dropping, all of a sudden you start getting, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to 80K or below. And all the channels become bearish. We reset the consumer sentiment almost to fear. Like we went to, so you have extreme fear, neutral, greed, extreme greed. We went almost to the fear side. So we were neutral, but very, very close to becoming fearful. So basically we reset the entire sentiment, which is great. That means we got rid of a lot of heavy weight in this correction. So as everyone was gaining weight during Christmas, the crypto market was losing weight and going to the gym and becoming very healthy. So this is how you should think about it. Why? Because these people were planning to start as soon as January kicked in, as soon as this in a few pumps, start selling. Right? So when they see this big correction, they see the big channels talking about 80K and all of this kind of stuff, they say, oh my God, I cannot wait for January anymore. Let me do it right now. And they panic and they need to be punished. And also you need to take out a lot of leverage from the Johnny-come-latelys that didn't buy in the bear market, but now they want to go 20x leverage, Bitcoin 100K. So they need to pay a price, they get liquidated, and once again, they pay the holders, people like me and you. So, in summary, 2025, I expect it to be a very strong year. As I've said, I give 30% probability that the first altcoin season, at least for some of my coins, may be the last season, which means they peak 12 months after the halving, and they may rally at the end of the year, but they don't quite make a new all-time high. So I give a 30% that that's the case, which means I will be selling around 30% of my portfolio somewhere before April, late March, late April. It will depend a little bit when we get there. Because as you know, it depends a bit on Bitcoin tops, because Bitcoin tops followed by the Ethereum top, followed by the altcoins, which means if I'm in the altcoins, I have, let's say, okay, I'm very convinced that Bitcoin topped here. So I know that I have 2-3 weeks to maneuver, so I don't need to do anything rash. I don't need to rush anything and make a big mistake. But I will probably de-risk about 30% of my portfolio in line with the probability that I take, that I assume for a potential big sell-off. How will I do it? Maybe a few percentage points a day, maybe some few percentage points a week. It also depends on how deep is the liquidity of the coin you are. If you're in a coin with, I don't know, 600K liquidity, you cannot drop 300K in the clip. You're going to eat so much slippage, you're going to get completely destroyed. I mean, Don't take me wrong. You can do it. It's just very stupid to do it. But for example, if it's a coin with, let's say, 12 million liquidity, if I sell 50K, I barely move the price. See what I mean? So that's why when people, oh, what's your strategy? Well, it depends. If it's a lower liquidity coin, I will probably de-risk 2%, 3% at a time, and it also depends on the move of that coin. So, for example, if that coin just pumps, 80% from one day to the other, maybe I de-risk 5% there instead of 1%. See what I mean? So it will depend a little bit on the situation. But my plan is somewhere around late March, April, potentially early May, I will be de-risking about 30% of my portfolio, which is the probability that I give that my coins will top there and they won't come back for the second half altcoin season bubble. What would change my mind? Because I already know you guys are going to ask me this in the comments. Say, well, what would make you think differently? If in the first quarter, which Bitcoin just goes to 300K, Ethereum to 20K, my coins go up 100-fold, etc., you need to understand that I'll be in a position where I can retire. See what I mean? If my portfolio in total goes up from where we are today about, let me think here, about 50, 60x, I'm retired. So obviously I will need to consider, my God, I have retirement at the age of 32 in front of me right now. Probably I won't de-risk 30%, I will de-risk 60 or 70%. See what I mean? Because I don't need to take the risk anymore that it doesn't come back. And particularly I don't need to be so overweight in altcoins as I am today. So you need to understand, you need to prepare mentally, in my view, this is my opinion, this is what I'm going to do. By the way, let me be very clear here before I go further. This is what I'm planning to do and what I'm going to do. Me, not you guys, not to copy paste, not to sell the same day, right? No, that's not the point. I've already told you, most YouTubers don't even disclose any of this. You barely know what they hold. And most likely you will only hear the good stories. I tell you, for example, I had about, what was it, $400 in, I was reading the euro versus the dollar, and I got the euro stuck in my head. I got $400 in ETHGuy. ETHGuy seems a complete dead project. So most likely I'm going to lose about $378 but I'll take that loss, because then for every time I get one of those losses, I get the Andes and the Hoppies and the etc. Right? So it's part of life. It's part of the game. I get it. Okay, I get it. But the point is, you're not going to win 100% of the time. You're going to win some of the time. Hopefully, most of the time. But even if you only win half of it, but if the half goes up 100-fold, then all the other losses combined matter zero. That's the point. So what I'm trying to say, this is the way that I'm envisioning things. Like in a normal scenario, I would give 30% probability that we only have one altcoin season that peaks late March, April, potentially worst case, like really if it pushes into early May. Then if I give it a 30% probability, I am considering to de-risk 30% of my portfolio, and then the remaining 70% in the second altcoin season later in the year. Obviously, if quarter one is so majestic, or quarter one, quarter two is such a strong start of the year, the first 6 months are ridiculously good, that potentially I don't even need to care anymore, then obviously I will de-risk a higher percentage. So I think that this makes sense, not just to me, but to you, right? Like, for example, if you're thinking about selling in December, right? But let's say you drop the lottery ticket in a meme coin on Base or in Solana or in Ethereum, whatever, and all of a sudden that coin does 1,000x. And you were saying, oh, but I was only planning to sell in December. You mean to tell me that if you have $1 million from $1,000 investment, that you're not going to heavily de-risk that coin? I think between me and you, I think you're probably going to do it. In that case, guys, we have time for that. For the time being, easy start of the week. No need to go crazy. Thank you very much for your support, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget, like and subscribe.